Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a really complex and surprising story coming out of Japan. It involves bears, public safety, and a very unusual solution that's got everyone talking. You might have heard that Japan has been seeing a big increase in bear attacks, especially in its rural and mountainous regions. We're talking about a significant spike in encounters, leading to injuries, damage to property, and a real sense of unease in many communities. Bears are venturing closer and closer to human settlements, and the big question is, why? Experts point to a few key factors. First, there's habitat loss. As forests shrink, bears have less space and fewer natural resources. Climate change is also playing a role, messing with the availability of things like acorns and berries, which are staple foods for bears. When they can't find enough to eat in the wild, they start looking elsewhere. And that often means raiding farms and rummaging through garbage in towns, too. Another interesting factor is the changing demographics in rural Japan. Many of these areas have aging and declining populations. With fewer people around, once bustling villages are becoming quieter, which inadvertently makes them more inviting for wildlife like bears to wander in. It's a perfect storm of environmental and social changes that are pushing bears and humans into conflict. The situation has gotten so serious that in some areas, authorities have had to make the difficult decision to cull bears to protect public safety. This is always a last resort and a really tough call to make. But it has led to a follow-up question. What happens to the bears after they're culled? And this is where the story takes a fascinating turn. Instead of letting the animals go to waste, the Japanese government has started promoting the controlled use of bear meat as a food source. That's right, bear meat, known locally as kumaniku, is now appearing on the menus of select restaurants, particularly in the regions where the culls have taken place. Before we get into the reaction to this, if you're finding this story interesting, please take a moment to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future videos. Your support really helps us bring more stories like this to you. So, this initiative is seen as a practical solution to a difficult problem. The idea is to make use of the culled animals in a way that respects them, supports local economies by creating a new niche market, and minimizes waste. In a way, it's a modern take on a very old tradition. Bear meat was consumed in some parts of Japan for centuries, especially by hunters in mountain communities. It's often described as a rich, gamey meat, and chefs are finding creative ways to prepare it, from stews to grilled dishes. But, as you can imagine, this move has sparked a lot of debate. On one side, you have people who see it as a sensible, sustainable approach to wildlife management. They argue that if an animal has to be killed for safety reasons, it's better to use it than to waste it. It connects people to the source of their food and the realities of human-wildlife conflict. This perspective emphasizes practicality and respect for the animal. On the other hand, many people are quite uncomfortable with the idea of eating bear meat. For some, it feels ethically wrong, regardless of the circumstances. Animal rights groups are concerned it could glorify hunting or create a commercial demand that could lead to more killing. There's also a general public sentiment that just finds the idea of eating a bear to be, well, a bit unsettling. It's a powerful symbol of the wild, not something you'd typically think of as dinner. This whole situation really highlights the complex balancing act between conservation, public safety, and cultural practices. There are no easy answers here. How do we protect people in their homes and communities, while also respecting wildlife and finding sustainable ways to coexist? Japan's bear meat solution is one attempt to answer that, but it's clear that the conversation is far from over. It forces us to confront some very tough questions about our relationship with the natural world and the difficult choices we have to make when that relationship becomes strained. What do you think about this? Is it a pragmatic solution or a step too far? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching.